Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm Olivia and I'm the head of product here at Classroom 42. And some of you might know me from my work on the humanities courses as well. And I'm joined with Tom, our managing director. Just to double check, can you all hear me okay and see me okay? Just Tom, if you could give me a nod if that's all
Yeah, all
sounding
good for
good.
me, Olivia.
Brilliant. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's great to see some familiar faces in the meeting as well. Okay, so during this webinar, we are going to be talking to you a bit about our present and future updates to the site. We'll be sharing a bit of the Classroom 42 journey. We'll also be giving you the chance to help us build our roadmap for the next academic year with some polls and questions and answers. And you can also claim your 5% discount at the end of the webinar as well. So, as head of product, I oversee all of the new and updates to our features on the website. So, I wanted to share with you a little bit about what we've achieved so far this academic year, what we're hoping to achieve next year, and also share with you how we are really a platform created for and shaped by teachers. A lot of our updates and our new features are shaped by teachers, by Classroom 42 members. We take on all of the feedback that we get from our members and we collate that and use that when we plan our updates. So it'll be really great to hear from you tonight about what you would like to see from us in the future. So one of the biggest updates we did this year, which hopefully all of you will have recognised, is the platform migration. So back in April, we moved our Classroom 42 website onto a new platform, which helped us have much faster speeds, helped us renew a more modern design, and helped it make it more accessible for pupils. One of the biggest improvements that we had from this migration was the improved speed. We did start getting a few bits of feedback about the speed of the old site, so we made sure that that was one of our top priorities when we migrated the platform. We want to make sure that our platform is responsive, it's easy to use, pupils aren't going to get bored sitting watching the screen load. We know their attention spans are very low, so we want to make sure that our site is as responsive as possible. So I did a quick screen recording just this morning, just to show you the difference, and I'll pop them side by side. So we've got the old platform here on the left and then the new platform here. And you can see just from these screen recordings, on the new platform, I'm able to go through exam questions, quiz questions, videos. Even before I've started going through the exam questions on the old platform, I'm able to get into my class lists, I'm able to look at results. So it's much more responsive and much quicker than the old platform. Took me about 30 seconds to do the exact same few things as it took me over a minute to do on the old platform. So that just shows that it's over 2 times quicker, and those minutes obviously add up a lot when you're using the site day in, day out, and your pupils are also saving a lot of time with that as well. So that's something we were really proud of when we did our platform migration. Another update that we did this academic year was our adaptive AI feedback. So this is something myself and our head of education, Sean, also worked on, and we basically wanted to improve the way that we give pupils AI feedback. So as well as having our standard AI feedback for exam questions on Examinator, Exam Builder and mock exams, we added in 2 extra buttons. So the first button was the simplify button. This basically puts the AI feedback into 2 simple steps: what went well and what is missing. So this gives pupils some really constructive, positive feedback on what they did well in their answer, and gives just 1 or 2 simple points in how to improve their answer. So you can see this one is an example from an Edexcel GCSE history question on medicine. Then we also have our Aim Higher button. So this is aimed to give 3 action points to pupils on how they can get to the next level of mark band in the mark scheme. It gives really in-depth and examples that are specific to the question, specific to their answer. It can quote their answer to tell them where they did wrong or where they can improve. It can also give them sentence starters. So for example, you can see in this third one here, it's giving us how we can structure each paragraph clearly and giving us a sentence starter into how to exactly to do that, and giving us really specific examples to add into the answer as well based on the question. So you can see here we've got some really specific examples about medicine in Britain. So yeah, that's another feature that we think is really, really valuable, and we were really proud when we put this out, and we've had a lot of really great feedback from this new feature. So on to the new updates that you will see from us over the next academic year. So the first update that we're really excited about is an upgrade to our quizzes. We know that our quizzes are really, really popular amongst teachers and pupils. We know this from feedback, and we also know it from the stats on our website that pupils do use the quizzes a lot, especially on the run up to exams. So we thought it was about time that we gave them an upgrade. So the first thing we will be doing for next academic year is adding in hundreds of new quiz questions. This means you can use our quizzes throughout the academic year. You can do the same topics and not have to worry about the same 10 questions coming up again and again. It means it's a lot more varied for pupils, and they can also structure their revision around the quizzes and just do hundreds of quiz questions to try and solidify that knowledge. The next update to our quizzes is that we will be adding a new teacher tool which will allow you to set quizzes. This is something that we've had a lot of feedback from teachers. We know a lot of teachers use the quizzes for homework. They really enjoy them for kind of end of topic tests and revision, but they wanted to be able to set the quizzes. So we're going to add that in as a feature. So you'll be able to set quizzes just like you can for exams or activities, and the quizzes will then show up within the pupils' My Work section or on their dashboard, and they'll be able to click the link and go straight through to the specified quiz. The way the quiz set will work will be very similar to Exam Builder, so you'll be able to filter through the topics, filter by difficulty level, and also filter by question type. So we're going to be adding in lots of new question types to our quizzes, as well as our multiple choice. We'll have matchups, we'll have fill in the blanks, we'll have order sorts to make it nice and varied for pupils. Then, just like Exam Builder, you'll be able to go through our big question bank and choose quiz questions to add to your quiz. You will also be able to search for keywords here to make your quiz as specific as possible, and you can see the topic and view the full question as well. Or if you just wanted to set, for example, 15 random questions based on your filters, you can use this Create Quiz button here. You can type in how many questions you'd like to set, click Create Quiz, and then I'll just choose random questions for you. So it's nice and simple. For example, if you wanted to do an end of topic test or a quiz every week, you could just use this section to really quickly choose those questions for you based on your filters. So we think this will be a really, really valuable tool for teachers and pupils, and hopefully you will get a lot of benefit out of this in the next academic year. Another new feature that we will be adding in the new academic year is more advanced settings for set work. So this will include Exam Builder, mock exams, activity generator, and also our new quiz setter. We get a lot of feedback from teachers, which we are really, really grateful for. And a lot of teachers who have been using the site lots, especially over this exam season, have given us really great suggestions in how we can improve the settings for set work. Because we really want to make our platform work for you. You guys are the ones that are using it in the classroom day in, day out. And we want to make sure that we're adding in those extra features that you will find most valuable. So the first extra setting will be the due date and scheduled time. So at the moment you can select a date for the due date or the scheduled date, but we're going to add in the option to also add in a time. So for example, I know some schools use mock exams, for example, in class. So if you wanted to schedule a mock exam, but have it only be available to pupils at a certain time. So for example, if you wanted it to go live to pupils at 10 a.m. when your lesson starts, you can specify the time, and then that means your pupils won't be able to see that exam before the exact time that you want them to see it. The next feature we will be adding in is a timer. So this will allow you to set a time limit for pupils to have a go at the exam or activity, and then it will be locked once that time limit comes to an end. The pupils will be able to see the timer as well, to make sure that they know that that is the allotted time that they have. But I think that would be really useful, especially for mock exams or exam builder exams, making sure pupils are practicing working under a time limit. The next setting that we will introduce is a prohibit copy and paste section. So especially for our exam builder and mock exams, you'll be able to tick this button, and then that will disallow pupils from using copy and paste on their computers, which will hopefully reduce the chance of plagiarism. And then finally, we will allow you to also select pupils. So at the moment, you can set a piece of work to a whole class, but we want to be able to give you the opportunity to select particular pupils within that class as well. So for example, if you just wanted to set a piece of work to all of your target grade 8 and 9s, for example, you could filter by that and make sure that only got set for those particular pupils. If you had a pupil that was off sick and you wanted to set them some work to catch up, you could just select that certain pupil. So it means you have a lot more control over who you can set work to. And the final update that I wanted to share with you this evening is going to be our improved onboarding systems. So from September, you will be able to use our Wand integration, which will basically mean that we will automatically connect to your school's MIS system. So that could be Bromcom or Arbor, or whichever one you use. And then we will automatically get all of the data from your school through there. So you won't need to give us your class lists, you won't need to send us your pupil details or upload your pupils. That will all be done automatically for you. This will help a lot with admin, especially when in September comes around and you've got all your new pupils and class changes. But it also means that throughout the year, if anything changes, so for example, when your classes move from year 9 to year 10, or if a pupil moves classes throughout the year, this will, if it's updated on your MIS system, it will be updated for us on the Classroom 42 platform as well. So it will just stop you from having to do any admin around your pupils or your classes. This Wand integration will be available to all of the schools who are on our whole school membership or on multi-subject memberships as well. And then finally, we will also be introducing a single sign-on. So this will allow users to sign into Classroom 42 using your Microsoft or Google accounts. So this will help, especially for pupils. They won't need to remember another password. They can just log in with their school account and use the site using that account. So yeah, again, hopefully making your lives a little bit easier in terms of onboarding. Okay, I'm going to pass over to Tom now. Oh, Tom, I think your microphone is off, sorry.
Oh, there we go, ready to go. Thanks, Olivia, that was brilliant. Just to introduce myself, so I'm Tom. I'm recognised some of the names, as Olivia was saying as well, so I know I've had individual meetings or there's people been on webinars with me before, but for anyone who doesn't know, so I was a teacher for many years before founding Classroom 42. I did work we also have another platform currently before we started Classroom 42 a couple of years ago. And we started out with history. We've since added obviously geography, religious studies, science, MFL. And it's brilliant that we're rolling out more and more features and more courses. What we intend to do is we've currently got 450 schools, around about 450 schools who are now using Classroom 42, many of whom use one subject, possibly two subjects, but what we really want to become over the next couple of years is a bit of a one-stop shop for schools so that students and teachers can benefit from all of our subjects and don't need to go and use lots of different platforms, one for MFL, one for PE, one for science, etc. They can get everything in one place, and similar for the features as well. So as you can see from what Olivia is showing you there, we're very ambitious with where we're trying to get to, and we've listened to the feedback that we've had from teachers and students over the past 12 months, and we're introducing changes quite quickly, and will be the second part tonight, is hopefully we're going to get a little bit of feedback from you and run a few polls to get a little bit of information on where we go to next throughout the next 12 months with different features and different courses as well. So we've just got on this slide here the current courses that we've got available on Classroom 42, just to give you a bit of an overview, and then the new courses coming throughout 2026. So as you can see, we've got History, GCSE, Edexcel and AQA, Geography AQA, Religious Studies AQA. More recently, we've added Key Stage 3 History, Key Stage 3 Geography, Key Stage 3 Religious Studies. If you are using any of those courses or Key Stage 3 Science as well, we really would love your feedback. They've only been up and running those courses for 3 or 4 months. So we still see potential to develop those courses further, maybe add different topics. Do we need to change the features a little bit for Key Stage 3, etc. We've also got GCSE Science at AQA, and again, another new one we've added quite recently, MFL, AQA, GCSE as well. We are adding, you can see, new courses coming throughout 2026. So the 4 courses at the bottom we're working on at the moment, and our head of education, Sean, is doing a lot of work in these areas and working with teachers and experts for each of these subjects to put together the content. But we've got GCSE English Language and Literature at AQA coming. We've got Sociology AQA, and we've got Business Studies Edexcel. What we're also bringing in, this is another one based on feedback that we've had the last couple of months, but we're going to be bringing in Geography and Religious Studies at GCSE across OCR and Edexcel specifications as well. The only difference is because we're trying to bring those in quickly based on lots of requests for them, they're going to be our first light courses where they're going to have all of the AI features and the tracking, exam builder, activity generator, examinator, quizzes. The only things missing to start with will be the cheat sheets and the videos, which we intend to bring in as a slower release for those courses. So that's where we're up to in terms of our courses. What we would like to do now, though, is ask a few questions and run a few polls in order to get a bit of feedback. So I think Olivia is going to drop each of these questions into the chat one by one. First of which you will see now should have come through, which is, which of the following Classroom 42 features would you like to see developed? And we've put a few ideas there, but you can also comment any further ideas as well. So hopefully everyone can access the chat facility. But the options are, in terms of the features you would like us to see work on and improve: Activity Generator. So would you like to see additional activities in Activity Generator? One of the ideas we've got at the moment is adding comprehension activities, for example, but it could be lots of different activity types. Enhanced teacher dashboard and analysis, is that the most important? Further videos, additional mock exams, more examinator questions, or something else. So if you don't mind dropping in a vote now for one of those options, that would be really useful. But probably even more so if you are happy to put a comment in the chat, which could be to do with one of those options. So for example, Activity Generator, what additional activities would you like to see? Or you might put something completely different as what you would like to see developed next. So we'll just give a couple of moments for people to respond. But then, as I said, more importantly, if you're able to drop any comments into the chat, that will be super useful before we move on to the next poll. So I can see I think there's a couple of people typing, so I'll let a couple of responses come through. But I can see the mock exams have got a couple of votes. More examinator questions seems to be top with the votes at the moment. Okay, so Nick saying more questions and mock papers. So model answers would also be good as well. So we do get that feedback from time to time in terms of the model answers. So it definitely is something that we will continue to look at. I guess maybe once a pupil has received their feedback on Examinator, for example, there could be a model answer button that they're able to click to show them the perfect answer before retrying. That would be one idea. Definitely need more revision activities. Okay, something else, so more pupil tools, I suppose. More activities and more revision from Jemima, brilliant. Multiple choice questions need to be longer from Nicola. Thank you very much. From Anna, would be great to be able to extract all results in one Excel spreadsheet rather than selecting each one based on what you have set. So that's really good feedback as well. So with a lot of these things, like some of them might seem obvious to you as the end users, but they're not always obvious to us as the creators, I suppose, because we're not the ones, although we're talking to teachers all day long about the product and about Classroom 42, it's sometimes we don't know the ins and outs until you give us that feedback, and we can think carefully about how to bring features in at that point. So that's great. So different types of revision activity. So spot the errors in the exam question. That's a really good idea. That's something we could potentially bring into Activity Generator. From Ben, would be great if when students attempt an answer again, it doesn't completely delete their original answer so that they can edit, improve the answer rather than start all over again. Yeah, I can see how that would be useful for a 16-mark question, for example, in history, or a 12-mark question in a particular subject. And I'll just read a couple more before we go on to the next poll. So ability to make an exam with a mixture of multiple choice questions and examinator questions, so longer form questions as well as multiple choice. So we do tend to have those in the mock exams, but we don't currently have that available in Exam Builder. So that's really good feedback as well when you're building your practice questions, and we'll take that into account. Activities to help them learn quotes for religious studies, maybe fill in the gap styles. So that's really good as well, because I think one of our thoughts as we move towards improving Activity Generator is, do we make the activities available more specific to each subject? And it sounds like that would be something for religious studies, for example. Option to pre-select the topics that we teach in school, so students don't need to see the options. I know that is one we're working on. I can see Olivia's nodding, so that's one that we're hoping to bring in for September, because I know a lot of history and religious studies teachers in particular would like to stop pupils seeing topics that they're not taking. Okay, fantastic. I'll just see if there's any more. Final one, please improve the use of Examinator for students, i.e. the default to center exam papers. I think that relates to the point above about options, in case I've got that wrong. But what we would do, that's absolutely brilliant. So loads of feedback to take from that. So really appreciate it. And as I said, it's so useful to us as we look to make changes and make improvements. So we will obviously save this chat and we'll go through it in more detail in the office over the next couple of days. So if you see a comment you like from someone else, make sure you hit a thumbs up or put a heart in, and we will see that, oh, that's one that lots of people are getting behind. And if anything else springs to mind, add that in as well. But we'll move on to the next one. So we've got 4 polls in total, but that is a fantastic start and really useful. So the next one is, which of these potential new features would you like to see on Classroom 42? So the last poll was more about our current features and where we go to next. This one is about new features and what you would like to see on Classroom 42. So we've got a few options. So first one is pupil revision notes. So you get this a bit on more student-facing platforms, maybe not so much for school-facing platforms such as ours, but there are platforms which just give pupils the revision notes that they need in quite a simple way. Is that something that you would like to see? So alongside Examinator, quizzes, cheat sheets, do we have pupil revision notes as well that are all there ready to go? Personalized learning chatbot. So this would be an AI tool where a pupil would be able to learn from AI, and maybe they would be asked questions. Maybe the student would ask questions themselves and get the information. It would always be specific to the exam board. A resource or slideshow generator for teachers. So if you were an AQA religious studies teacher, would it be useful to use a tool, an AI tool on the platform to create a specific resource that you could trust? A lesson planner potentially, so something that would help you to plan out your lessons. Again, an AI tool, and then again other. So what ideas have you got? What would enhance the platform even further in terms of new or additional features? So I'll come down. Okay, so Nicholas said, to be honest, rather focus on improving current content and skills and Examinator rather than adding new functionality. So I think that's really good feedback, and that's definitely an argument and a debate we have in the office is, can we benefit schools more by improving the current features or adding additional features? We don't want to just add additional features for the sake of it. If it's going to become more confusing, it will be more use of our time to improve the current features, of course. But any other ideas on that? I'll keep scrolling down, so feel free to comment or just to vote. But we'll give a few seconds for any other comments coming in on the additional features, if there's anything that you'd like to see. So I can see there's a few votes for resource or slideshow generator, which is great. That's something we've talked about a bit in the office, and potentially would be super useful when the curriculum reform comes in over the next couple of years, and you're really starting again with resources. Could be beneficial at that point. So it's something we'll continue to think about. You can see the personalized learning chatbot has got a few votes as well. And I think there's a couple more comments coming in. So yeah, Nick just agreeing that more exam questions would be the most useful. And I know that that's something Sean talks about a lot, that his part of his role is going to be increasing the amount of exam questions year on year, so that we get a bigger and bigger bank for each specification. But that's brilliant feedback. Students are really loving the immediacy of feedback, the variety of activities, and how easy it is all to use. So positive feedback, fantastic. Please put any positive comments in as well, because that's really motivating to see that. And I'll just give a few more moments for any other comments on this particular poll in terms of the features you would like to see added potentially. So I'll just give a couple more moments and then we'll move on to the next one. So any other comments on additional feedback? I think there are a few people typing, so we'll just give it a moment.
Yeah, like Tom said, even if it's something really small that you think would, improve the site by 5% even for you, it might be something that we wouldn't consider, but you as a user using the site every day, you notice something really small that will be really useful. And we do definitely want to hear all sorts of ideas, whether it's really big new features or whether it's just little improvements to current features, because we're always trying to shape the platform around our members. So yeah, anything, whether it's big or small.
I think it's potentially like, I know from when I was a teacher, it wasn't necessarily the norm, and you'd think, oh, there's no point in me feeding back this little thing to these platform owners. They're not going to be interested in what I've got to say. But that really isn't the case, and hopefully you see that we do act on feedback quite quickly and make changes wherever possible. Let's have a look at what else. I think there's a few more comments. So Ben's just asked, would resource generator be able to generate sources or interpretations for history for different topics that can be used for general teaching practice and not just for sources or interpretations papers? Yeah, possibly. So that's one for the future, that absolutely. And if we were going to go down that route, I think we'd have to make sure it's specific for each subject, and make sure we're working with teachers to develop such a resource. So really appreciate that input. So Anna, loving the no copy and paste feature. Some of my more inventive students have got AI to write their answers and then plonked it in the examinator question. Yeah, so that's one we thought quite carefully about that, haven't we, Olivia? Because it's a difficult one, because we know that some teachers like to paste in answers and have it up on the smart board so that they can show demos to their pupils, or they might paste in an answer from a pupil to show everybody else. So it's a bit difficult with the whether to restrict that or not. So it's one we've gone backwards and forwards on quite a bit.
Yeah, but yeah, I think having, especially for exam builder and mock exams being set, giving you the option to be able to disable that, especially if it's sort of an end of topic sort of exam that you don't want obviously pupils to be able to copy and paste into. So hopefully that will help reduce that sort of plagiarism from AI.
Yeah, brilliant. So a couple more. So can we also have short videos showing them how to answer or tackle exam questions for each paper? So yeah, I think that's a really good idea. That's something we have done in the past for history. We had a revision hub area a year ago, which discussed things like how to tackle exam questions. So great. Yeah, we can think about that one for the future. Would it be possible to have a short quiz all students can do at the end of a lesson together, Kahoot style? So yeah, I think the new quiz feature from September is a way forwards with that, where you would very quickly, and we're talking 10 seconds, Olivia, if you wanted to just do a 15-mark quiz or a 20-mark quiz, randomly create the questions, you're probably looking at 10 seconds, set it for your class. You've got the oversight as a teacher, and they'll be ready to go. So that one, hopefully, yeah, we can achieve by September. And let's just see anything else. All right, I think that's it for that one. So we'll move on to the next one. So we've got two more to go, but this has been tremendously useful so far. Which subject or course would you like to see added to Classroom 42? And I know this one potentially would be specific to you as a teacher, but also maybe try and think about your colleagues and what would maybe persuade your school or students as a whole to go and try out Classroom 42. So we've put a few options on there, but completely understand this one might be more of a comment from you in terms of what you would like to see. So we've popped on humanities A-level courses, which we do get quite a lot of requests for. English Key Stage 3, so we're adding English GCSE. Would English Key Stage 3 be most useful, hitting a very large amount of pupils, for example? Maps, we do get requests for maps from schools. We know there's a lot of other platforms out there for maps as well. We absolutely do want to go in that direction, but it's about timing and when's the right time, when's it going to benefit students and teachers. Or then we've got other for this one as well. So citizenship. So there's so little out there revision resource wise for citizenship. So that's really useful. I know we do get requests from that. Sean gets lots of conversations, requests regarding citizenship. So that's fantastic. Nick, A-level history would be great. Brilliant. Jemima, history and RE, Cambridge. Just out of interest, those saying history, which exam board at A-level would that be for? Anna, would be great to have some of the A-level subjects we find it hard to recruit for, such as psychology. Yeah, brilliant. That's really interesting. Yeah, potentially. I presume you mean by recruit for in terms of it might be difficult to get specialist teachers. So you end up with a non-specialist. And if you had a platform such as Classroom 42 supporting a non-specialist, that could obviously go quite a long way. I know that's something, again, Sean, our head of education, has talked about quite a lot and trying to target such subjects. So I know Sean's replying in the chat a little bit as well, but I know he'll be making lots of notes and probably looking for some follow-up conversations with some of you too. Okay, so Nick said Edexcel for A-level, fantastic. Another one for A-level as well from Jemima, brilliant. Taster package. So it'd be good to have a taster package for A-level courses to bridge the gap and tempt students to consider it. So I think that's a really good idea as well. And we can think about how that might work. Might be something we can bring in a little bit easier to bring in a full A-level course as well if we wanted to start to bridge that gap as we're building A-level. So that's great. Okay, fantastic. Right, we'll go. Oh, I think there's possibly one more comment coming in, but we'll go on to the last poll as well. And that is, what type of supports would be most beneficial from the Classroom 42 team? So we've been thinking carefully from September how we can offer further support to you, your department, your school, your colleagues, your students. But there's lots of different ways we can go down. So help with whole school implementation. So this is something we've done a bit, and I know there's people in the meeting tonight who have gone through this, where they've been able to trial Classroom 42 across lots of different subject areas, and they've had a key contact at the school who's led that and driven it into the classrooms, tried to get teachers using it, giving them a little bit of training. We're helping with that as well. Is that something that would help you? Subject specific CPD. So if you're a history teacher, running some history sessions, potentially if you're geography, for example, we run a CPD session for you and your team just for your subject. Onboarding support, so class setup. Have you found that, for example, a little bit of a faff, a little bit onerous, with each department member potentially building their own classes, or other once again? So if you've got any comments on that at all, I can see a lot of people are putting subject specific CPD, which is really interesting and something we can definitely do more of. What I would say is we do our absolute very best. If anybody ever gets in touch requesting a CPD session, we will do our absolute best to run that at a time that suits you, and that's whether it's a whole school membership, and we've had 50 plus teachers attending sessions from one school, or it's a more intimate session just with 2 or 3 members of a department, or 4 or 5 members of a department. So do get in touch if that will help, a bit of CPD for you and your team. But yeah, any other comments on what type of support would be the most beneficial from us as a Classroom 42 team? So Jemima, you've just put financial friendly. Do you mean just making sure the support is free, for example? So that's what we tend to do at the moment, is the CPD we run always tends to be free as part of your package, for example. Or I've misinterpreted that, then yeah, please explain further. So Nick, have you explored any ways of encouraging student use of the website, so random prizes to student, etc.? Yeah, we've talked a bit about leaderboards as in particular. So maybe having a school's leaderboard or even an individual student leaderboard. And it's something we're tentative about because we think it's very easy to get that wrong, but we know it can be motivating, very motivating for particular pupils. I think what's important for us is anything we bring in, such as a leaderboard, we don't want to turn the site into a bit of a game, because we've seen that happen on various other platforms, and it can go wrong quite quickly. For example, with we introduced a leaderboard for the most exam questions answered. Pupils then fly through the exam questions and they stop thinking about their grades and how they're improving, and they just try to get as many marks as possible across the board, for example. But it's something we definitely will continue to think about, and any ideas on that would be brilliant. So we do this on Language Nerd. I think that probably relates to the prizes for students, so we'll definitely have a look at that. Making sure that as a school we have access to being able to download usage stats so we can have our own competitions. Yeah, completely get that as a school. So at the moment, in your teacher dashboard, you can only view the classes that you're assigned to, but completely get it. But as a school, you might want to get a more generic picture or leaderboard for your school. And that's definitely something we could think about. So certain SLT, for example, or Classroom 42 leads or admin accounts might be able to get more of an overview and see that leaderboard. So that's really good feedback as well. Right, that is fantastic. Feel free to drop any further comments in on that one. As I said, we will 100% be going through these in a lot more detail when we're next all in the office, and we'll start to make some plans of what we can do to make those improvements. Have you got, so that was the final poll. If there's any other comments at all, just more generic feedback, whether that's just positive feedback about the features that you like at the moment and why you use the platform, or what else we can do. So is there anything else we can do? Then that would be fantastic. We, as it's more of a sort of intimate webinar this evening, with a if anybody does want to, if they want us to allow the mic and you want to say anything in terms of feedback, then feel free to like raise a hand or put a comment, and we can do that as well. Or if you'd rather just write out any final comments in terms of feedback, then that would be fantastic. So we'll just give a couple of moments for that, for any final comments and feedback to come through. Yeah, brilliant. So Anna, thanks for that. So it's a great resource, love it. And so did Ofsted when they saw it in a lesson. So I know, yeah, I met with Anna not long ago, and you told me about Ofsted visiting the school, and you chose Classroom 42 to use during your Ofsted lesson. I don't think there's any greater feedback that we could get than you trusting the platform that much, that you want to use it for your standout lesson with your students. So that's absolutely fantastic. Jemima, is it possible to have presentations for lessons? So yeah, that's something we're talking about, as well as a resource creator for the future. We're talking about whether we can introduce a slideshow creator, or we create the slideshows and make them available as well. So it is something on our agenda, and something we're considering about how we might bring in that tool. So any final comments just in terms of feedback? So just give a couple more moments.
Thank you, Kathy, for that feedback about our quick responses. That's definitely something we really pride ourselves on, is our response time. We're quite a small team, but I'm sure lots of you will have talked to either myself, Tom, Sean, Lorna, who operates the support email as well. And yeah, we're glad that you feel that way, because that is our number one priority, is our teachers and our members, and we do always want to make sure that you feel supported and you feel heard, and that any issues are sorted as quickly as possible. So that's really great that that comes across.
Fantastic. Right, I think that is all the comments come through, which is absolutely brilliant. And like I said, we really do appreciate that, and we really do act on the feedback that's given. So many thanks once again. You can also email over feedback at any time. So you can go to the contact us page on the platform. My email address is tom@classroom42, Olivia@classroom42, Sean@classroom42. Nice and simple. So do drop us an email. We will always respond, and we usually respond quite quickly as well. So please do send that over. Right, we're just going to finish then by share. Is it okay if I just take over? Oh no, Olivia's gone for it. Nice one. So we've got the we'll leave it on your screen, Olivia. So we obviously said 5% discount for anybody attending this webinar. we'll just talk about the packages, because I know lots of you are on packages already, probably thinking about renewals, thinking about adding further courses, that type of thing as well. The price for one course through to the 1st of July. So we're reevaluating the prices on the 1st of July. So if you've ordered by the 1st of July, the price for one course is 349 plus VAT. You can have an invoice straight away. You can have an invoice in September. You've just got to have ordered by that 1st of July date. But we also do bundles, which are a little bit cheaper. So we've got, for example, an all humanities bundle, which is 1598 plus VAT. That includes all Key Stage 3 and all Key Stage 4 humanities courses. So as many classes, as many teachers and students as you want. Another example of bundles, a GCSE chemistry, biology and physics bundle, 799 plus VAT. And we do other bundles as well. So if it's a Key Stage 4 humanities, for example, or it was a full science Key Stage 4 and Key Stage 3, or any other combination for that matter, then get in touch and we'll let you know the prices. We also have a whole school package for just under 3,000. That gives you access to everything that's on the platform now, everything that's being added in terms of subjects for September, and anything that's added throughout the next year. So as and when we add courses, for example, next January potentially, or next March, you would get instant access without any further pricing. You will also get the 5% discount on top of all of these prices that I've just mentioned for being on this webinar and for offering such great feedback this evening. So have you got the web page there as well, Olivia? If not, I'll share my screen because I've got it ready to go.
Yep, I've just got it in the chat there.
Oh, fantastic. Great. So yeah, Olivia's popped the link in the chat, but we're also on the page there where you can order your membership or make a renewal. It shows the prices for single course and whole school membership. I think it shows the courses as you scroll down there, doesn't it, Olivia? Yeah. And then at the bottom, there is an order form. You can use this for orders, obviously, if you wanted to order or to renew straight away. You can also use it for comments, questions, or queries. So for example, if you at the moment you're just thinking about a Key Stage 4 humanities bundle, you can ask some questions there and we'll get back to you. As you use that form, please just pop in the comments or questions that you're a webinar attendee with the 5% discount. We've got a list of attendees anyway, so we can double check that. But if and when you do make any orders and want that discount, then just pop that in and we'll make sure that we adhere to that as well. But please use that form, use it tonight for questions in the coming days. Use it for questions if you've got queries about membership or anything else as well. If you just scroll back up, Olivia, I was just going to mention on that page, you've also got the option to book a meeting. So you can see highlighted there, book a meeting button. You'll be able to click on that and you'll be able to book in with one of the team. If you wanted to have a 20-minute chat, for example, about membership, you can book in a Teams call. I think you can pick a particular date and time, pop in your email address, you'll get a calendar invite, and then we can work around the time that suits you to have a chat about the platform, about feedback, about membership, whatever that might be. So I think that is all for tonight. If anyone's got any final comments whatsoever, feel free to drop them in. But if not, we will say thank you very much for attending. We do really, really appreciate the feedback. The platform is all about taking teachers' ideas and teachers' feedback and slowly improving things, or quite quickly sometimes improving things to better support you and your students. So any final comments, feel free to drop them in. No problem at all. No problem, Anna. Thanks very much. No problem, Nicola.
Yeah, and as Tom mentioned before, if anything springs to mind, this evening or in the coming week of things that you would like to see on the site, do drop us an email or get in touch via the contact form, because we're always more than happy to take on feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think there's just a few thanks coming in, which is brilliant. So we will, unless there's any other comments coming in, we'll leave it there, I think. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the evening, everyone. And yeah, hopefully speak to you soon.
Yeah, thanks
Bye.
everyone. Bye.